If the letter comes from a different country, you will write the country name, and then you will. Good day, grade 10s. Let's check in on hoe luister en skryf ons nou. So you struggled a bit with this week's mastery check, so let's have a look at some of the common mistakes that is being made while you are completing this mastery check. So firstly, let's look at die vriendskaplike brief. So some of the common mistakes that is being made here is the incorrect format of the address, right? So it is important to take note where the numbers are written in the address line. So as you can see, you will first write the name of the address and then the number. Okay, please take a look. You write the name of the street, the area, the city or the town, the postal code. If the letter comes from a different country, you will write the country name, and then you will write the date. Skipping and not skipping any lines. So please take note where you should be skipping lines and where you shouldn't be skipping any lines. You can see it on this image where there are X's. That is where you'll skip lines. You will also skip a line after the date before you start off with your friendly letter. Right. And then the last thing is the incorrect content in the introduction, body, and end. So it's important to know that in your introduction, for the inleiding, the first paragraph is short and it states the reason for the letter. In the body of your friendly letter, die liggaam, it expands the reason for the letter and it consists of at least 2 paragraphs. Please remember to try and stick to one idea per paragraph. That will just keep your friendly letter well structured. And then the end, your slot, the final paragraph is usually short and it rounds off the letter. Right, after your ending, you will skip a line, or after your final paragraph, that is where you'll skip a line and you'll write the end, where you will write to whom you are addressing it, or who you are, or your name, or your relationship with the recipient. And you don't have to write a surname. Okay. Next, we'll look at luisterbegrip, listening comprehension. So some of the common mistakes that's being made while completing a listening comprehension is you might be feeling overwhelmed, right? So it is important to just try and stay calm, keep your environment calm and collected, keep it quiet so that you can focus and so that you only focus on listening. You might not be following the correct instructions, the correct steps of completing a listening test. The correct steps that you should follow is you listen to the audio for the first time. When you listen for the first time, you only listen attentively. The second time when you listen to the audio, this is now where you are able to make notes. And then you'll get the chance to listen to the audio for the third time. And this is where you need to make sure that you find the answers to all of the questions. And then the definition of luister. It's important to know that when you listen, you should only be listening. Do not get distracted and listen attentively. So instead of having a reading comprehension where you can read through the text and you can find the answers, you cannot depend on a text to read. You can only depend on what you are listening to in order to find the answers to the questions. The next concept that we'll look at is die skryfproses. So the mistakes that is often made during the writing process is that you're not following the process, right? So the process goes as follows. You have your dinkskrif, meaning your brainstorming. Second, die beplan met 'n breinkaart. This is where you will make your mind map. Third, skryf 'n eerste weergawe. This is your first attempt, your rough draft. 4 hersien en verander. This is where you will revise and edit. Fix all of your mistakes. And final, you will write your final attempt. Right, rushing through the planning. You know, if you plan well enough, the rest of the writing process will go smoothly for you. So your planning will include collecting ideas. It will be to plan your vocab and just making sure that you've got all of the tools ready to complete your writing piece. Skipping the editing process is a mistake that is quite often made because you just rewrite your first attempt as your final draft full of mistakes and not fixing the errors in the final draft. So you will edit your first draft, make sure that you indicate all of the mistakes, fix them, and when you rewrite it into your final draft, you write it flawlessly, you write it without all of the mistakes. Right, so now you got this. Now that you have what you need, go and attempt your mastery check again. Best of luck to you.